a police officer died.
No, he didn't. Somebody died after of natural causes, and the left-wing media said it was because of January 6th.
It's not associated with that event. Did it not? Would it have occurred if January 6th never happened?
He died of a stroke.
This is why I don't watch the news, bro. This student is dead set on this topic. Dude died of a stroke.
We'd love to talk to the Black community, the Hispanic community, the LGBT community, and of course, young college kids like yourselves who are typically being indoctrinated by leftist ideology in the Democrat Party. We wanted to come out today, answer questions, and share our stories about why we used to be Democrats, why we used to support the ideology of liberalism, and why we now understand that this is a belief system that is destructive to our country. So we'd love to encourage all of you to please come out, hear our stories, answer any questions or ask any questions that we have. We're happy to answer. So come on over. We'd love to talk with you guys. We'd love to talk about the Democrat Party's exploitation of Black America, how these policies have decimated the Black community. Yes, sir. Welcome. Thank you.
Would you say walking away from the Democratic Party means walking to the Republican Party? And if not, like, where to then?
Sure. That's a great question. So his question was, are we encouraging people to join the Republican Party? So with WalkAway, we're about 7 years old. We've been around for quite a while. Hundreds of thousands of people have joined our movement, shared their stories about why they're walking away. From day one, we've always said WalkAway, we say, is a journey, not a destination. What we mean by that is we're not encouraging people to leave the groupthink or the tribal mentality of the Democratic Party. What we're encouraging people to do is think for themselves, do their own homework, do their own research, and wherever that journey leads you, we are here to support people. There are people who have joined WalkAway who became independents, libertarians, Republicans. Some love Trump, some don't love Trump. That really doesn't matter for us as long as people are doing their own research, stop being manipulated by the mainstream media and the false narratives that are being put forward and the Democratic Party, and think for yourself. My journey led me to become a Republican who supports Trump, but that certainly isn't true for everybody.
You said you don't care where people...
Trump was a break in the matrix. Trump was a break in the matrix. And the reason I say that Trump was a break in the matrix was because Trump made it so that a non-politician can become president, and a non-politician can build an influence. And I think him being in office really set a sequence of events that was not supposed to happen. And what do I mean by this? For years, we had people who were just in office and just tell us one thing and then do something completely different, and they were playing the game, and they never really made big change, but they always just did enough to get ahead. And when people saw Trump, what they saw was someone who didn't do that. Whether or not Trump actually does that is a different discussion. But what they saw was someone who's telling me that they're for me, that they will not be a typical politician, and that's why he won the election. Whether that's actually happening in reality, I don't know. That's up for you to decide. Nonetheless, the problem with politicians, and why I really do support the WalkAway way, like the whole mantra of it, why I support it is because a lot of politicians are not in it for you. They're in it for themselves. And we can all say that. And that goes to whatever side of the spectrum you look at. They're in it for themselves. They prove it time and time again. And I think it's stupid to blindly support a politician. I'm not going to lie. I think it's stupid because they're not blindly supporting you. They aren't blindly doing everything they're supposed to do for their constituents ever. They do it for themselves time and time and time and time again. And this has been happening since the beginning of time. Do you know how many days people in Congress work per year? They only work half the year and they get paid. I'm certain they get paid double the average salary. They get free health insurance. They get free everything. They only work half the year and they're allowed to trade stocks. And they're voting to keep it so they're allowed to trade stocks forever. Is that working for you? They make careers out of your gullibleness. And this has been happening for a long time, and I refuse to blindly support any side that thinks that's okay. But nonetheless, let's continue.
Right. So I guess my question would be, would the same principles you apply? Because I would consider myself pretty rational, in the sense, like, I think a lot of what you just said could be said of the Republican Party as well, right? So, like, it just seems like...
Such as what?
Well, just like, in a general sense of thought, like, I mean, rationally, any group of people, especially in America, there's only two political parties versus like other countries, like, I just think a lot of the group thinking stuff that I'm going to apply to the Republican Party should. So I guess that's my question. I'm just trying to, you know what I mean? That's why I was asking, like, does that mean going to the Republican Party? Because we're in a two-party system, so to leave one would mean to increase the ratio of the other, right?
Anecdotally, I think all of us here would say, and it is anecdotal, that there is more diversity of thought allowed on this side, of whatever this side is, meaning not a Democrat. All of us, I think, in our stories, and really anyone who's a former Democrat, will often tell you that they bought a lot of Democrat policies, a lot of Democrat talking points.
Yeah.
But if you deviate on even one or two, suddenly it's like, well, you're not a Democrat anymore, you're a Nazi, you're this, you're that. So no, the Republican Party isn't perfect. Obviously,
That's actually pretty true. I've seen Democratic what are they called? Commentators, they would cancel their own peers for not even saying anything, for doing something they don't agree with. That's not even it's not even like a immoral thing they've done. I've seen them cancel their own peers, say I'm not friends with them no more, say I'm not supporting him no more for doing anything. For example, Kamala Harris is on a book tour right now. She's on a book tour. She wrote a book. A lot of Democrats don't like the fact that she's profiting off of her time in office from writing a book. She's not insider trading. She's not dropping government secrets. She wrote a book, and a lot of Democrats are canceling her for that. I'm like, dang, it's strict over there. It's real strict.
Our media that's not liberal that also has an agenda. But I think in general, there is more diversity of thought over here.
And I think
we're able to tolerate different opinions.
Yeah, I think for me, I definitely became a Republican. And I think for me, being a Republican, there's a lot of diversity of thought within the Republican Party. There's nothing that I'm required to believe. Whereas being on the left, there are many things that are sort of magical thinking that you have to believe in that everyone knows are not true.
I do believe, though, there should still be like core beliefs on both sides. I'm a believer that there should be some like diversity of thought, but however, the core beliefs you should typically agree on.
For me, it was like prime 2019 high school, like the end of the year when things were like kind of going down, when COVID starting to hit, and I was kind of like thinking like, what's really going on with the country? I mean, like, I'm not totally like, I'm not knowledgeable what's going on, but at the same time, I had my political beliefs at that time, and I did a few like, I can't really explain, but I'm just saying, what was your turning point? That's all I'm getting down to. What was your turning point?
Sure. I ended up walking away from the Democratic Party in 2017. So I started voting, in the early 2000s. So I, voted for Barack Obama twice. I actually voted for Hillary Clinton in 2016. So I always believed that the Democrats were the party that cared about, marginalized minorities, cared about the little people in this country, cared about racial injustice, cared about the injustice being perpetrated against minorities in this country. I also believed that the mainstream media, sources like CNN, MSNBC, the New York Times, the major networks, ABC, NBC, CBS, all of these news sources were truthful. And that they were, doing their job.
They will lie to you so fast. You won't even think to blink an eye, bro. They do not care about you at all. They will lie to you so aggressively, so fast, bro. I don't even watch the news anymore. I know it's a little ironic that I react to a lot of political things and I don't watch the news. But the reason why I don't watch the news is because they're paid to spin a narrative. They're paid to spin a narrative. They will agree with the side no matter what. They don't care if the side is wrong, right, at all. They do not care. If they're getting paid from that side, they're going to agree. That's why I don't watch it.
At the Capitol. So the Capitol could have been secured on January 6th, and Democrat Party leadership prevented that security from happening.
In regards to the event actually happening, though, it is well known that Trump took decisive measures to instigate January 6th to occur. Do you not agree?
Oh, wow.
I don't agree. But I'd be happy to hear from you what he did.
Well, in Trump v. United States, just recently, the Supreme Court acknowledged that he one, attempted to coerce the vice president at the time to confirm electoral results that were not accurate. He then he also told his supporters
ChatGPT
on the same day of the event that we were going to walk down to the Capitol. I mean, you can take that however you will, but I mean, what actually occurred is a direct consequence of what he said to his people. And so, you know, he definitely played a major role in January 6th. Whether or not there was security that was adequate, you know, it's like what hindsight is 2020, right? So you can say that, oh, looking back, they should have done this or that. But looking back at the actions that Donald Trump has done over the past, 4 years during his presidency, even himself, he admits that he could have picked better individuals. He could have done this. He could have done that. But ultimately.
But before we move on, can we address what you just said? Can we just address what you said so far? So the examples that you cited were that he told people to walk to the Capitol on January 6th. And then you said the thing about the certification and Pence. But the thing is, if you're going to blame him for January 6th, why are you going to dismiss the fact that he tried in advance to make sure there was security so that nothing like that could happen?
There was security at the event. In fact, a police officer died.
No, he didn't. Somebody died after of natural causes, and the left-wing media said it was because of January 6th.
It's not associated with that event. Would it have occurred if January 6th never happened?
He died of a stroke. So I mean, I don't know.
This is why I don't watch the news, bro. This student is dead set on this topic. Dude died of a stroke. And they're like, it happened because of J6. Like, and I get it. We're all biased in some way. Let's be honest. We're all biased to a side. I'm biased. My favorite player is LeBron James. I don't care what you say. I'm sorry. He's the best player of all time. I don't care if you think it's Larry Bird or Michael Jordan or Magic Johnson. I don't care who you think it is. It's LeBron James. I'm biased. I admit it. I'm biased. That don't mean I'm wrong, but I'm biased. And in this instance, the student is so biased. He's stuck on this. I don't care if you tell him. I don't care if all the Capitol Police come out on film and say it wasn't his fault. They're going to believe it's his fault. And I'm not saying I know about the topic because I never researched that. I don't know too much about what happened that day.
You're claiming he's wanting to have that protection for the Capitol. Why would he need that if you just claimed that it was peaceful?
Right. No, I didn't claim that it was. Obviously, it wasn't peaceful.
You just did, though.
No, I didn't.
You said he called to peaceful protest.
He told people to be peaceful.
Why would you not want extra security just in case?
But don't you find it a little bit suspicious? You guys are so suspicious of the left media. I mean, can't you say the same for the right media?
Are you implying that Donald Trump asking people to march peacefully, that he's still responsible for the actions of other people? Is that what you're trying to imply?
Yeah. You got to understand, I guess you guys are influencers or non-influencers, whatever you'd like to claim yourselves. But you do understand people do have certain control over other people, and not necessarily control, but there's an aspect of influence. I mean, it's in the name, influencers. There is an aspect of influence that a major political figure like Donald Trump would have over people. Him calling other people to action, I mean, to peacefully protest, there is going to be a certain level of influence that he claims.
So if people choose to disregard the peaceful part, I think that's on them. But then I would ask you, would the Democrat Party be responsible for the almost assassination attempt towards Trump with the rhetoric of calling him a Nazi and a dictator?
I guess perhaps. We don't know the motives of those shooters. There was not very much information about that.
But their words have meening, right?
Of course. I agree completely. Words do have meaning. Yeah. And I demonize both the left and the right media. What I don't understand is how you guys can claim that you want to walk away. You did make claims that the media of the left was very influential to people. It's very incorrect. It does propel a lot of misinformation. I don't understand how you guys can see that about the left, but not about the right.
Well, but the example that you used, I with respect, I don't really think it makes sense because, I don't see how you can both acknowledge that he tried in advance to provide security to make sure it didn't happen.
You know what? I get what they're saying. They're talking about her example. I will say they're kind of missing her point. Her point is, if you're going to criticize the left media and say that they're influential in negative ways, which they are, we all know this to be true, you're really going to sit here and pretend that none of the right media does the same thing? Let's be honest. You don't think the right has sponsors? You don't think Fox News has sponsors? You know Fox News is based out of Manhattan. You don't think they have sponsors? You don't think a lot of them are Democrats? I'm not trying to bash Fox News. I'm just saying that both sides do it. And I don't think that's a crazy thing to say. Both of them have sponsors. One is not a freaking freedom rider. You could argue that one side does it more than this side, but pretending that one side is just completely innocent of it is just not true. And I don't care if you support the right or the left. You know it's not true. I would hope you know it's not true. I know it's not true. It is just not accurate. Let's be honest.
But then also say he wanted it to happen and it was a call to action.
But you see that you say that he doesn't want violent or something violent to happen, but then you go in the same breath say he wanted people to go there. Like, I don't understand how that.
No, I get it. So what I'm saying is that I think he recognized, and a lot of people recognized, there was the potential for something to get really out of hand on that day, and that a riot could happen or some sort of violent or destructive incident could have happened. So he said, let's make sure this doesn't happen, but it's not within his jurisdiction to say, I'm going to deploy the National Guard. That has to be decided by Nancy Pelosi in conjunction with the Washington, D.C. Mayor Muriel Bowser, who are both Democrats. Those two women decided, nope, we don't need any security that day at the Capitol, even though there's going to be hundreds of thousands of people coming for an emotionally explosive incident.
Right, but
so why would he try to prevent something and then cause it?
You see where I'm coming from, right?
No, I don't, actually. I really don't.
Like, how can you say in one breath that he is calling people to action, and then
No, you're saying that. You're saying that.
You said that he wants people to go peacefully protest.
Yeah, peacefully protest, which is their right to do.
Call to action in general. It doesn't have to be a negative connotation. That's a call to action.
Yeah.
He's calling people to act. How can you say in that same breath that he's also trying to bring this much defense to the nation's capital if, they're like, how can you say it? Like, he wants defense there while he's calling people to peacefully protest.
Right. Well, honestly, it should be a no-brainer that in any situation where there's going to be hundreds of thousands of people, we have security right now for this. So the event should have been secured just by virtue of the fact that there's going to be so many people coming together for a common cause, which is an emotionally explosive cause.
What he's saying is this. The event should have naturally been secured, no matter what Trump said, which is probably true. The event probably should have been secured no matter what was said by Donald Trump. Yeah, it makes sense to me. Nonetheless, I'm going to end the video here. Let me know what you guys thought about this. My name is Jojo, and I'll see you on the next one.